birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. A river running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Thank you, Julia. I just love it. I can just see you back there with Frank Sinatra, right? It's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new life. Easter is all about rebirth. So, how many of you come from northern states? Yeah. So you know about that spring feeling that we look for the grass to start getting green, right? And when the first buds start coming out on the trees, ooh. And then those first flowers, what are the first flowers that come up? Crocus. What is it? A snowdrop. Tulips, what else? I heard more. What else? Daffodils, crocus. Yeah, we know it well, don't we? New life everywhere when you're up north. But what about when you're here? Kind of, it's new life, but you know what I noticed driving around is we pay attention to things like Easter bunny breakfast. The sign, what is that sign I saw? Helicopter egg drop. I mean, did you? And then there's the dog surfing competition today, right? I mean, only in Florida. I was at the beach Friday. I didn't realize it until after I left. It was Good Friday. Why are all these people here? But I watched people begin their Easter celebration. And they're on the beach, and they've got their picnics. They've got all their beach toys. It's Easter in Florida. And you could feel the energy. You could feel the joy in the air. But Easter is something different to each of us, isn't it? Depending on our families, our culture, our tradition. Maybe it's about family meals. Maybe it's about gatherings. Maybe it's about community. So I asked, my daughter says I ask her this every year because I try to figure out what the Christmas talk is going to be about. I said, well, what did Easter mean to you as a child? She went, colors. I'm like, colors? What are you talking about? She says, the colors get light. I got to dress up, and I could wear a dress that didn't have long sleeves, and it was a light color. I went, okay, that's interesting. So I went to her daughter, my granddaughter, and said, what's Easter mean to you? And guess what she said? Colors. The light pastel colors. And look at you. Look around today. Look at all the light colors we have in here. But why are you here today? Why are you here today? Not for any of those reasons. Not because of Easter bunnies or Easter egg hunts or colors. We're here today because over 2,000 years ago, a man known as Jesus of Nazareth took a stand. We've been hearing a lot about stands lately, haven't we? People taking stands. But a stand was taken over 2,000 years ago against the Roman rule, against the tyranny, the oppression. Because this man desired to change his world. And it wasn't a stand of violence. It was a stand of peace, compassion, equality, love. A stand that spoke so loud that the Romans felt threatened and felt a need to silence it. But from that stand of one man, a new spiritual movement began and it was called Christianity. Do you hear the power in that? So the biblical story that we know, that we're here for, came from that. That was the beginning of Easter. The crucifixion, the tomb, the resurrection. So unity, we say we're a positive, practical Christianity. What does that mean? It means we metaphysically look at the Bible. It means we look at the underlying message that it brings us. Because if we look at Easter only in biblical terms, we are going to miss a powerful message that we can bring into our life, a message that can serve me, serve you, that changes my life. So today we're going to look at Easter metaphysically. And we're going to start with the crucifixion. So there are books and papers and discussions all on the last 7 words or statements of Jesus. We all know about that, right? But did you know this? Those 7 words, those 7 statements are spread in all the Gospels. They're a combination taken from 4 Gospels to make the 7 last words on the cross. So 3 of the statements come from Luke, 3 different ones come from John, and 1 comes from Matthew and Mark. This is how you write stories. This is how you put things together that holds people's interest. So we really don't know what order they came in. It's a compilation of this. And we can spend lots of time discussing the last words of Jesus on the cross and what they mean, how they came to be, what Jesus meant when he said them. But remember, there wasn't anybody there videoing it, right? No one there texting these words to anyone. If we look at just the traditional story, we're going to stay stuck in our heads. We're not going to drop to that heart space, to the real message of this. Because there's a powerful underlying message that goes with the crucifixion. So you've all got busy, busy lives, right? You're running around doing your should-tos and your to-dos and all your lists. And in that busyness, are there times when maybe you don't feel very loving? Or maybe you don't feel very loved? And in those times, it kind of hurts. It's painful, isn't it? It's not comfortable. And so in those times, I may speak a little harshly to someone or not act so kindly. I might have difficulty seeing any good anywhere or in anyone. I might feel separate and alone. I may suffer from that separation. It may feel like I'm nailed to the cross, that I'm being crucified by the world and the people around me. Can you get that? Do you see that connection? But one of the statements that Jesus made, that Scripture says he said on the cross, is, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." So when that guy cuts you off, are you thinking that? He knew it. Joe says he knew it. Of course Joe would say that. When I'm feeling crucified, when I'm feeling like life has me nailed to the cross, I get to practice forgiveness. I get to practice grace. I get to surrender that hurt I'm holding on to, that pain that keeps me suffering, that keeps me nailed to the cross of my own making. When I'm in pain, when I'm hurting, who's got me there but me? In John 5:8, there's the story about Jesus entering Jerusalem. And in Jerusalem there was this pool, the pool of Bethesda. And around it, the ill, the blind, the lame, anyone with any illness, they would hang out there. And the story was that if the water roiled, got stirred up, it meant that an angel had come down and the angel's wings had stirred the water. And if you could get in that water when that water was moving, you'd be healed. God, we'd all be there, wouldn't we? Yeah. So Jesus walked in, he's kind of walking there, and he sees this man lying on a mat. And he could tell the man had been hanging around this pool for a long time. It said it was 38 years this man had been hanging out there. And Jesus stopped and looked at him. Do you want to be made well? This morning, do you want to be made well? What if you were asked that? And here's what the man answers. Okay, so Jesus is standing there over him. This guy's laying on his mat. And here's what he says. I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred. Oh, poor me. And while making my way there, someone else steps ahead of me. Oh, poor me. When have you said that? Huh? When have you blamed the stuff in life like that? And what does Jesus say? Stand up, take your mat, and walk. So I'm inviting you this morning to hold that thought. Whatever's going on in your life, whatever has you nailed to the cross, whatever you feel like is crucifying you, you can be healed from it. You can stand up, you can take your mat up, and you can walk, because that's exactly what the man did. He stood up, he took his mat, and he walked. What is the mat you're holding on to? What is keeping you nailed to the cross? What is keeping you from being healed? Is it unwillingness to forgive? Is it unwillingness to surrender your negative thought patterns, your negative beliefs? You know, sometimes we hold onto our mat because it's comfortable, because it's what we know. We've kind of gotten used to that pain and suffering. How long I stay on my cross suffering is totally up to me. How long I hold on to my mat, like the man at the pool who continued to blame others, who continued to feel like a victim, is totally up to me. I will never realize if I do that I have the power within me to be healed. Crucifixion, metaphysically, means crossing out our negative thoughts and beliefs. If I'm feeling crucified, I have the power within me to change my thinking. Because I'll stay on that cross, I'll keep being crucified over and over again. I will not experience a new life or new birth until I stand up, take up my mat, and walk. And so we've done that. We've gotten off that cross. We've taken up our mat and we've walked. But what happens next? What came after the crucifixion? What about Saturday? What happened on Saturday? Where was Jesus on Saturday? In the tomb. In the tomb. And this is a big one. It's the one we kind of skip over, but it's a big one. Now, the burial of Jesus is the same in all four Gospels, because he was buried according to traditional Jewish burial customs. They knew what they were. They rubbed spices, they wrapped him in linen cloths, they placed him in the tomb, they put the stone over the entrance. Remember, the tombs were like carved into the rocks. They were like little caves in the rocks. So you're off the cross. But what happens? What's life like when you're not on the cross anymore? Who am I without my victim story? You know, I remember I lived in New England a long time, and all you talk about in New England is the weather. Right? All you do is complain about the weather. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's raining, it's whatever. And I moved to California. Well, the weather's there. I went, what do people talk about here? Who do I blame when I give up my victim story? The tomb is our in-between time. We're off the cross, but we don't want that old life, but we can't see a new one yet. If you've been there, you've been stuck between that place. Okay, I'm doing all my spiritual practices, but I'm in this fog. I can't find my way out. And so we feel a little unsure. Our life is kind of on pause. You've been like that, kind of on pause? Those old thoughts, those old beliefs aren't running my life so much anymore. They don't have the power they used to have. But my new ones aren't really solid yet. I don't really have a hold on them. So I'm entombed in the unknown. I'm kind of like in limbo. I'm not ready to really face the world yet. And some of you may have experienced this. You kind of retreat, kind of stay home, maybe crawl up in bed a few days or on the couch a few days in front of the TV. Because something's going on, something's shifting, and you don't really know what it is. You know what? It's okay. It's okay when this happens. It's okay to be in your tomb. Because it's a time of transformation. You're changing. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. Something is changing within you. It's like the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon, waits to become a butterfly, right? Think of yourself, you're in that cocoon. You're sitting there waiting. And what you have to realize when you're in that place of your life is that within you, in that cocoon, is all the strength, courage, and wisdom you need to triumph, to face challenges, doubts, fears. It's all right there. Within you is a power that is mighty enough to roll back the stone from that tube. What's the stone? It's any obstacles or challenges you feel are in front of you. Our tomb time is a process. It's a process of fully becoming who we're meant to be. I wore a butterfly today. I saw someone else with a butterfly on. That tomb time is our metamorphosis time of becoming that beautiful butterfly we're meant to be. So as we come out of that tomb, that's when the resurrection happens. And in each gospel, a woman or women, and they all were called Mary, arrive at the tomb and they find the stone rolled away. We all know that story, right? And each one of them are told, he is not here, he has been raised. So when I dare to open my door, get off my couch, get out of my bed, kind of stick my toe back out into the world, that's the beginning of me waking up. That's the beginning of me realizing that I can move up in consciousness, that I can raise up. That stone of limited beliefs has been rolled away. That I'm free, I have no more limitations. That I'm stepping into a new way of thinking, of seeing, of being. I'm rising up, a new day, a new dawn, a new life. Take a breath, can you feel it? Yes. The caterpillar does not turn into something it was not. It simply becomes more fully what it was designed to become. Inside of you is something so beautiful, so powerful, so free. Take a breath. Take a breath and know that about yourself. Take a breath and say, yes, today, I am going to step out of that tomb. Today, I am going to be more brave, courageous. I am going to become all I came here to be. The Easter story that our Bible has put together so beautifully for us is about dying to the old. My old thoughts, my old behaviors, my old thinking, my old habits. It's about transforming. And it's about rising up into a higher awareness of myself, a higher consciousness. Charles Fillmore, who's a co-founder of Unity, says this: every time I let go of old ways and enter into the new, I have taken part in a resurrecting process. So we can be crucified over and over again. We can spend months and months in the tomb. And we can awaken many, many times. Jesus desired a change for his world. Isn't that what's happening around us now? That desire for a change in the world. And Jesus took a stand, but it was a love and peaceful stand that couldn't be silenced. And because of it, we're here today. Because of it, Christianity emerged. So I'm here to tell you this morning that neither the crucifixion nor the tomb can keep you from your good, can keep you from who you're meant to be. That it's time to wake up. It's time to transcend your stones, your boundaries. It's time to rise up, folks, and experience the higher consciousness that you were born to experience. A new dawn, a new day, a new you is emerging. Can you feel it? Yes. Today, get off the cross, roll back your stone, take up the mat, and rise up into your new life. God bless you. Happy Easter.